Hey guys, Old Guy Gaming here, back again with another MTG Arena video, and tonight we're going to be doing the last of the Knights week with Orzhov Knights. So I do regret to inform you guys that work has been really crazy over the last couple of days, and I didn't get the opportunity to finish the entire play every card and standard event to be able to build the deck exactly the way I wanted to. That having been said, though, I'm actually pretty happy with where it turned out ultimately in the end. But again, we're going through the whole series of Knights and Knights and Knights. I think ultimately we're going to end up with like a Mardu deck at the end of it. But so we wanted to give the last combination that I think is really good, and that is the Orzhov of Variety. So let's go right into the cards in the deck. Some oldies but goodies. Venerable Knight, really like this card, and it's been a lot of fun to play with. 2-1 for 1. Whenever it dies, it's +1/+1 counter on another knight you control. Cool card. Basically a sacrificial lamb, so to speak, to allow that to bump up your other knights. Knight of the Ebon Legion, love this card from my Mono Black deck. Still very good. It is a 1/2 for 1, and you can spend 3 mana to give it +3/+3, and gains Death Touch until end of turn. Also, if you do more than 4 damage in a turn, it gets a +1/+1 counter, so he can get really big really fast. Worthy Knight. Okay, so I was not necessarily sold on this card right away, but I found where the use comes in, really. It is a 2/2 for 2, and whenever you cast a Night spell, create a 1/1 human creature. So I was like, oh, that's kind of disappointing. It's not a Knight. What good is the human creature in this deck? And the answer is twofold. In the Calamity decks, it's fantastic because it produces blockers for their stupid 1/1s, and they fear charging into it because sure, they'll get Calamity to trigger, but they're going to lose their creatures in return. And the second part to that is Circle of Loyalty, which we'll get to here in a moment, does all of your creatures, not just knights, so these 1/1s can become 2/2s relatively easy. So a free 2/2 on the board is nothing to sneeze at. Smitten Swordmaster, this is the one that I kind of subbed in for not having the rare knight that I wanted to, but ultimately in the end I'm pretty happy with it. First of all, it's a 2/1 with lifelink for 2. Really good. Its adventure, Curry's Favor, you gain X life, and each opponent loses X life for X's number of knights you control. Mid to late game, this could win you a game, simply for 1 mana. So very, very useful card. Acclaimed Contender is really cool. 3/3. Whenever it comes into play, you look at the top 5 cards of your library, find a knight, aura, enchantment, or legendary artifact, and put them into your hand. What you're really looking for is either A, another knight, or B, Circle of Loyalty, which we'll get to. Midnight Reaper. Watch that one. Again, an oldie but goodie. Whenever a creature dies, you put does 1 damage to you and draw a card. It's part of your card draw engine in this one, and he turns out to be a knight as well. We're going to go with double murder, not just 1 murder, but double murder. So 4 copies of murder and then 4 copies of Murderous Rider. Murderous Rider, by far, a better version of Rasticus Contempt, in my opinion. Yes, it does cost you 2 life to do it, but it is at instant speed, it is 1 less mana, and it targets creatures and planeswalkers. Can't beat it. You're going to have all these knights, and you're going to need a little bit of life. Why not toss in Sorin in there? I recognize he's not 100% fit for the knight build. However, as long as it's your turn, creatures and planeswalkers you control have lifelink. His +2 does 1 damage to target creature or player, which is lifelink, so you'll gain life off it. And it has the added bonus for -X to be able to remove loyalty counters from him to pull creatures from your graveyard and return target creature card with X converted mana cost to the graveyard. If that creature is a vampire, it also gets another. That creature is a vampire as an addition to other types. It doesn't affect the game at all. Just because your Cavalier of Night is a vampire, it doesn't change anything. Speaking of which, Cavalier of Night. Great little top-end card, lifelink 4/5. You can sacrifice one of your Worthy Knight human tokens to wipe out one of their creatures, and whenever it dies, you can return a creature for 3 converted mana cost or less from the graveyard directly into play. And of course, Circle of Loyalty, we've played a lot with this card throughout the Knights deck. It costs 1 less for each knight you control, so this is really like a 3 or 4 cast artifact. Creatures you control get +1/+1. That's not just knights, that is creatures you control. If you cast a legendary spell, there isn't any, but you do get a 2/2 white knight token, or you can spend 4 mana and tap it to create a 2/2 white knight token with vigilance. I'm toying around with the mana base, nothing super crazy. I tossed a Castle Ardenvale mostly for theme because I thought it looked like Minas Tirith from Lord of the Rings, to be personally honest with you. Is it Minas Tirith or I think it's Minas Tirith, or it's now that I'm thinking, I'm making me wonder if it's Gondor or not. I think it's Minas Tirith is what the city I'm thinking of. point being, I thought it was very knightly. It looked kind of cool. It does also give you the added ability for, because it is Fun Deck Friday after all, so we're doing something for fun, and this kind of felt the theme. So I thought knights, castles, why not? It does give you the added ability to have create a 1/1 creature for 4. So that is actually huge, especially in late game against control decks where you can just keep tapping mana to make creatures. There is a lot to be said for that. 5 mana and 2 more Castle Locthwains. This is an additional draw engine if you need it. It does do a damage to you whenever you draw. So you have your Murderous, you have your Midnight Reaper, you have your Castle Locthwains, you have your abilities to draw cards once you start running out of gas. 7 Swamps, 4 Godless Shrines, 2 Temple of Silences, and a Fabled Passage because it's a story. We're telling a story about knights, so why not? I do genuinely feel like this is a really good card. I've always been one of those people that didn't understand why people didn't like Evolving Wilds, because I'm like, you're basically playing with 4 less cards in your deck. This one has the added bonuses of bringing one of those cards back untapped instead. It's basically a fetch land. So this is really good. And I can see these going way up. So if you're getting these in paper, by the way, hang on to them. Alright, let's go play some games with Orzhov Knights, shall we? And we're going to do our version of Bronze League Heroes. I always seem to work my way up to the Gold Leagues. And because I'm testing and trying out decks, and sometimes that doesn't always do very well, I can never seem to get above that echelon of gold. So every time we have a reset to the new season, I always get bumped down to bronze again. Oh well, is what it is. Ooh. I likey all of this. So we are going to drop Knight of the Ebon Legion and say hello, just like playing my Mono Black. So in case you're wondering, Godless Shrine is considered a plane, so it will allow Castle Ardenvale to come in untapped. So there is that subtype of planes as well. Temple of Triumph. Ooh, I wonder if this is a... We won't need to use that. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and let that go in tapped, because we don't really have a turn 2 play anyway. And now we can just drop whatever we want. I was going to say, I'm concerned that this might be a feather deck. I haven't seen one of these in a long time. So let's go with Acclaimed Contender. What do we like? I like Circle of Loyalty, thank you. Sure, I might as well get my damage in on it now. Now, I'm curious to see what he replaced. They used to do Reckless Rage in this deck, which also rotated out. So I'm curious as to what he has put in to substitute for that. My guess is that this is Feather. That he was worth spending 2 mana on. See, I feel like this is bait, so I'm not going to allow that to happen. Because I feel like he's got a boost, a bump, something in here that's going to make this thing ungodly. Yeah, see, Defiant Strike, which would have really made it a 4/4, and we'd have lost our Acclaimed Contender. So we're going to take 4 for that, and it's going to stick around as a 3/3. But we have Knight of the Ebon Legion. Like, worst case scenario, we can absolutely kill it. Scorchman. That's an interesting card to add to this deck. Not sure about that. So yeah, let's go Circle of Loyalty, shall we? He's thinking if I only had a shock in hand, but he does not. No, I'm going to hold. I'm going to wait one more turn here. I like the idea of getting the 3/2 lifelinker down here. So now we have 4 mana to cast a 3/3 with Vigilance, which is going to be really fun. The real trick is we're going to need to get Feather out of the air. Now, if this deck is doing Feather right, he's got a God's Willing in his hand before he casts Feather, which is going to be super annoying. Because then you can never kill her. You might as well just give up at that point. He's a thinking. Tajik, interesting choice for this deck. He does have Mentor. He can take the Scorch Spitter and bump it up. That'll be interesting. Which one's more dangerous at this juncture? At this juncture for me, I think that the 10th District Legionnaire is more dangerous. Now, my suspicion is he's got like another Defiant Strike, so I'm going to lose one of these two. God's willing. Interesting. Interesting. So he wasted that. So that means he may not necessarily have Feather in hand. We'll just recast it. Which one do we like? I like Venerable Knight, please. Because then we can cast it. Although I like the Lifelinker better. No, let's cast Venerable Knight now, and then we'll save the Lifelinker for next. We'll cast his Avenger. Now the interesting part, depending on how this works, he must have just drawn Feather. That's got to be super annoying. Because he burned off one of his God's Willings already. Now let's see if he gets how this works. Burning off all... So now he's got God's Willing and Feather, so this is going to become super difficult to get past. Because God's Willing's just... This game's basically over. Although he is tapped down. Six, 7, 8, 9. Make sure Tajik doesn't kill me. I think we might be okay still. Yeah, him having God's Willing in his hand is a bit of a bear. But what it does is it basically corners Feather into she can't really attack, because if she does... Yeah. If she does attack, Knight of the Ebon Legion's going to come in and kill her. So I'm gonna have to contend with this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to chump block that out. That's just too crazy. Interesting. So he's gonna burn all of his white mana, which means he's not gonna have the mana to cast God's Willing later. Wait, how did he get... Oh, because I can't even block him from protection from black. I always forget that rule. Alright, well, that's a Feather deck still alive and well. Aw, poor Bronze League heroes. Alright, let's get another couple of games into this deck. I do need to try to make it quick. I'm running a little bit of a short time frame, so I'm going to try to get about 3 games into this one. I just want to basically give the idea of how the Knights decks are going to work. And I really do like the mechanic. I think there might be a little... There might be something behind it. I mean, there's other powerful decks, but this is a lot of fun. Ooh, 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 ooh. Iffy. Iffy, iffy, iffy. Not sure that was a good idea. Went ahead with it anyway. My sincerest hope is I'm going to get another land here. Which I do not. So we're going to go ahead and pop that for... Well, we need double black, so let's go ahead and get the black for the murder. And this, every time I see black-red, I always think Rakdos Sacrifice. I have a black sacrifice deck. Oh my god, there's so many cool combos out there. Still no land. Little concerned now. Yeah, there's a black sacrifice deck with the cat, the cauldron thing, and then Witch's Brew. I mean, there's all kinds of cool stuff out there. But that black sacrifice deck looks really good. Let's go Venerable. That also means that Circle of Loyalty, now we're missing the white mana. That would figure. Widespread Brutality. Which we'll put there. Works for me. We'll go Venerable Knight here. Let's go Smitten Swordmaster. Just give him straight up with a 2/2 lifelink, so if he does swing in with that... My suspicion is he's not going to want to block with that. No, I guess so. One more white mana, we are sitting pretty. Castle of Interest, ooh. 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. If I get one more mana, we're looking at 11 mana. We're looking at 11 damage, he's almost dead. Nope. Why would we do that? Actually, we talked about this earlier. How to win a game late. Drain him down to 1. We talked about that earlier. Smitten Swordmaster got him down to 1. So, unless he's got a board wipe, we might actually have pulled this one off. Ha! We did! How do you like that? Smitten Swordmaster did exactly what I wanted it to. A little bit, one more damage would have been nice to kind of like win the game that way, but still, I think we got our point across. Is the trick. Ooh, what do we get? What do we get? Shambling Suit. How did everyone do on the level up? I think it's weird for them to do a release on a Thursday because it only gives you like 4 days to get your 15 wins in before the next cycle rotates over. Now, I was able to pull it off, but it seems a little tight, especially considering this. No 1-drops. I think we're going to mulligan this one. That's better. Yes, we will keep it, especially with the 2 Murderous Riders. Which one do we drop? Ooh. I'm a little weary, but I'm going to have to do that. That's going to have to be the one that goes. I'm not going to drop both, but especially if this turns out to be a red deck, Worthy Knight is worth its weight in gold. Good old Gutter Roads. I wonder if this is that sacrifice deck. Oh, I hope it is. Just because I want you to see the deck, because it's so cool. Because it basically runs, what is it? Witch's Cauldron, the food token artifact, the cat, the legendary... Yeah, this looks like exactly what this is. Witch's Oven, that's the one. Yep, this is exactly what this deck is. I really like this deck. I like this deck a lot. No. Because basically, this deck can kill you without ever really attacking if it wants to. Smitten Swordmaster works for me. I'm going to go with the lifelink just because I know what's coming from this deck. No. Because what'll happen is it'll sacrifice this. Once you get the legendary creature out, the queen from shore? I bet you she's coming down now. And that's what Murderous Rider's for. Seeing the splash of red in this is interesting. Because the way that I envision the deck, it's pure black. Midnight Reaper works. Okay. Let's go in with some... Yeah, no, he's got more than enough to kill it. I think I'm just going to drop my own Midnight Reaper. I debated going in with the Knight of the Ebon Legion, but he's got enough over there to get to kill it, even if I do pump it up. And he's going to create food tokens. So once you get the cat, there's this endless loot that you can do with the cat. Priest of the Forgotten Gods, that's exactly what this deck is. All the sacrifice tokens. The only thing he's missing is this legendary creature to make the whole combo work. And what do we want? We want Circle of Loyalty, please. No, we're going to wait till Circle of Loyalty comes out and these creatures get so much bigger. Because then I'll just start feeding in these 1/1s that are just going in and just run over them. Granted, they don't trigger Midnight Reaper because it says non-tokens, but so what? Judith, interesting choice. Interesting choice for a sacrifice deck. You wouldn't want to sacrifice Judith. So let's go ahead and drop the old Circle of Loyalty. Make all of my creatures 1/1. How many knights do we have? 4? Let's go ahead and do that too while we're at it. Let's see how much he likes his stuff. Now, my suspicion is he's going to Priest of the Forgotten Gods, but you have to sacrifice 2 creatures. So what does he sacrifice? Interesting choice. There's my 4 damage to make my Knight of the Ebon Legion bigger. And that's the cool part about Worthy Knight is, so whenever he starts making me sacrifice creatures, I can just start sacrificing tokens. I'm like not afraid to sacrifice tokens. Cruel Celebrant's a little bit overkill in my opinion. I think we should get rid of that. Sure. I'm just going to get them back here in a second. Yeah, see, that's where Cruel Celebrant starts becoming a pain in the butt. Oh, what we couldn't do with mana. So my suspicion is he's going to sacrifice her to what? Priest of the Forgotten Gods, and then what? Midnight Reaper goes? Or do you just let it go? No, he's going to sacrifice that and Midnight Reaper. Interesting choices, because that's 2 damage he's going to take to himself. He can kill one of my tokens. Interesting choice, because he's just left himself so wide open. I'll sacrifice a token. So even if he blocks my 4/4, he's still taking 3, 6. Yeah, no, he's dead. He doesn't have any mana to sacrifice for food. Where's he getting the mana from? So yeah, I was going to say, I'm not really sure what he was going with on that. So, cool deck. I really like the idea. But again, you see where the deck's going, where it's like, yeah, no. These little 2/2/1/1 little critters that I thought, ooh, we're in silver. Woohoo! We're now Silver League heroes. How do you like that? So yeah, no, I'm sold on Worthy Knight. I really am. Alright, so let's give you one more game. One more game with Orzhov Knights, and then we'll call it a night for this one. This is already at 26 minutes. I try to give it around 30 for you. So maybe this will be a fast one. Maybe not. One of my test games was against Control. It took me almost 40 minutes to play that game. At that point, I'm watching Desolator Magic and Rudy at that point because it's so boring. Ooh, nothing in the early game, so this is an easy mulligan. Sure. I hate to say it, but like, so Sorin's not necessary for the deck to win. Good old gutter balls. Worthy Knight into Worthy Knight. I like that a lot. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, no, you can have... Oh. I'm not a fan of letting Murder go. I can't cast it, and I can't let the Worthy Knight into Worthy Knight go. No, you can have that. That's painful to have. Oh, look at that. We got rewarded. Fate shine down upon us. Can't imagine he's going to block that. So he can bump this up for 3 mana to make it a 2/2. So we got to kind of be careful on that one. I'm not really looking forward to blocking with Worthy Knight. So I think I'm going to let all of that go. Rotting Registrar. We did get rewarded indeed. This is a Plains. This counts. What I should have done, I should have let that make him discard a card first, is what I should have done. So the right play, I misplayed that. What the right play would have been to have cast nothing, let him discard the card to let Rotting Registrar's trigger go off to make him discard one of his cards, and then murdered it whenever he attacked. That was the right play. I totally misplayed that. There we go. Now we got some blockers. Oh, he looks like he's playing my deck. Legion's End I don't run, but he's definitely looks like he's playing my deck. That's awesome. He's going to make me sacrifice a creature, which is Gutter Bones, which he's going to get back. I have no cards to discard, so that's really Rankle's only ability at that juncture. Look at all the tokens that fire. You can have all of these. So he could swing in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So swinging all in is not going to work for him. Actually, one. I don't know that that was a wise decision for him. So I can sacrifice a creature. We're looking at 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. So unless he drops a creature here, like there's... I don't know that I would have done that. Each player discards the cards and each player loses 1 life. Okay. Riding Register. It can still only block 1 creature. Alright, now we're getting a little crazy. How many knights do we have down? Well, we're going to cast the adventure no matter what. That's the upside with Riding Register, so I can leave those 2 there. 2, 3, 4. He can block 2 creatures. Send that, send 1 of those, send 1 of those. So we're sending 4, 5, 6, 7. So he can block 2, which are going to be these 2. He's still going to take 4, 5, 6. Woo! Orzhov Knights. Respect your deck, man. Mono black, aggro, huge fan. I do respect it, but it was nice to see Orzhov Knights win. So I do hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, always helps out the channel. Let me know in the comments down below how you would build your Orzhov Knights deck. And I'm looking for ideas and hints on how to build a 3-color deck. I'm leaning more in the Mardu direction. What did we get? What did we get? Deafening Silence. Cool card. Leaning more in the Mardu direction, but I could be wrong. All of that's going to come next week, so let me know in the comments down below what you think of some cool Knight builds. What's working well for you in Throne of Eldraine? Just hit me with a deck. I get those all the time. So anyway, I do hope you enjoyed the video. Until next video, guys, we shall see you in the arena. This video was brought to you in no small part by our patrons. If you would like to help out the channel, go to www.patreon.com/oldguygamingmtga. And thank you for your support.